Welcome to Learning to Glow, a show about wellness, skin health, and self-development. I'm your host, Jess. I'm a mom, entrepreneur, and skincare expert. I'm so excited to share tips on how to achieve healthy skin and bring amazing guests in the field of health, fitness, aging gracefully, and personal growth. Let's explore all different ways we can take care of ourselves as women, both inside and out, to truly shine. So let's get glowing. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me today. We have such a great episode, and I had a really great conversation with Rochelle Clark, all about breast health, a topic that we've actually never talked about on this show. It was such a great conversation. With 25 years of experience as a licensed massage therapist spanning across Washington and Idaho, Rochelle brings a wealth of expertise to her practice. Since 2003, she has been a certified lymphatic therapist, holding 2 certifications in lymphatic drainage and complete decongestive therapy for lymphedema. Additionally, Rochelle is a certified breast massage therapist and a functional nutrition therapy practitioner, focusing on nutrition response testing. And she actually, while she is in Northern Idaho, she does have a remote practice as well. So if you hear this and you're like, I really want to work with her, but I don't live close to her, check out my show notes. I'll have all her links and you can actually work with her remotely. We talked about how the lymphatic system health is so important for just overall breast health. Breast cancer prevention, what we can do, so many tips here from dry brushing to what we eat. Also, we talked about how to monitor and screen for breast cancer in the best way and the safest way possible, and so much more. You can check out all of her information. She actually talked about a few things that she recommended, like castor oil packs and a few supplements. So I'll link the products that she recommends in the show notes as well. I hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you, Rochelle. You are amazing. And I really enjoyed this topic. We have Rochelle Clark with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a great opportunity, and I'm delighted to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. We were just talking about location. You're in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is gorgeous, and you're having beautiful weather today. I always have to talk about the weather because it's fun to see what everybody else is dealing with at the moment. I'm freezing in my house, and it's much colder where you are. So I love it. So you are a lymphatic therapist, and you're also work with you're a breast specialist therapist. So tell me I know I messed that up a little bit. So tell me exactly what your title is and what you do, because it's such an important topic. And we have talked about in the past on my show, the lymph and how important the lymphatic system is for our health, but never really with, as far as comparing it with breast health and how breast health and lymphatic system, it's so important. And so maybe you could just start by sharing what it is you do, and then we'll go from there.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. Well, I've been a licensed massage therapist for 25 years, and I've been a certified lymphatic therapist and lymphedema therapist for 21 years, and a certified breast massage therapist for the last 7 years. And I'm also a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. And I got into working with breast health because so many women were complaining about breast health issues and breast pain. And so I wanted to learn more because I wanted to there's such a focus on breast cancer awareness. And I thought, why not turn it around and turn it more, focus on breast health awareness? Because there's so many things women can do. So you never get to that stage and you never get to that point where you have to be concerned. Um, and I have a dear friend who almost died from breast cancer and she developed lymphedema. And she's the one that got me into lymphatic drainage. She just wouldn't let it go. She was a registered nurse. She had to drive an hour when I was living in Seattle. She had to drive an hour to get qualified lymphedema care for her arm because she had that lymphedema. And so I finally listened to her. I had a year's training of shiatsu before I even got into massage school, and I was going to be all about deep tissue massage, medical massage, and shiatsu. And I quickly discovered how hard it was on my body. And
Mm.
I decided to explore lymphatic drainage and I fell in love with it. It's really deceptive. It's so gentle, but it's so deceptive. And it also is very effective for circulation to the breasts.
Okay. So this is I love that you're talking about this because like you said, you literally never hear advocates for breast health. It is breast cancer awareness, like you said. And I think the first question to even start with is what does that even mean? Like, we don't hear that term. And what are we looking for? And what do you actually mean when you talk about breast health?
Well, that's a great question. And I want to really link the importance of the lymphatic system for breast health and just go back to the basics and talk about, you have twice as much lymph fluid in your body as you do blood. And so it's a really important component to your health. It's called the river of life, but it's also called your silent sanitation or silent sewer system. So you have approximately 600 to 1,000 plus lymph nodes in your body, depending on who you talk to. And you have lymph nodes in your neck, your armpits, your groin, behind your knees, and most of them are in your abdomen around your internal organs and intestines. But also, the breast tissue is rich with lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes. And so, you want to make sure you're getting healthy circulation to the breasts because you want the toxic waste to be moving out of the breast tissue. You want the healthy nutrition moving into the breast tissue. Your lymphatic system also is important part of your immune system. So it can transport lymphocytes into the breast tissue to fight invaders, foreign invaders, infection, and potentially prevent cancer. So if you have, the lymphatic system is intricately linked to your health. If you have chronic congestion in the breast tissue because the lymph is trapped or stagnant, that's when you start to develop inflammation, breast pain, your breasts feel engorged. Um, you start to develop other conditions such as fibrocystic breasts, which the doctors are now trying to normalize. It's not normal, but it is common. And there's a lot you can do to prevent that and even reverse that. And I like to show women how they can do that. So, um, yeah, you really want to make sure you have healthy circulation. The breasts get healthy circulation when they wiggle or bounce. And one of the most important things is to make sure you have a proper fitting bra. 80 to 90% of women don't wear the correct size bra or it doesn't fit properly. And that keeps lymph trapped in the breast. I have this really great book that I recommend people check out. It's called Dressed to Kill, and it's the link between breast cancer and bras. So you want to start with that for sure. There's a lot of, the fluids get trapped in the bra, and with an underwire bra, especially, that wire ends right at the pathway where the lymph flows into the axillary lymph nodes or your armpit. So it's getting trapped in the bra. So you definitely want to take it off at the end of the day. Go without a bra as much as possible because they're not that good for you.
Okay, I want to talk about this. I know I have other things I want to talk to you about, but before like we move on, this is so interesting to me. So, when you say a lot of people aren't wearing the correct size bra, you're meaning that's too tight. Is that right?
It's either too tight, it's not the right size, it doesn't fit properly, it leaves indentations or red marks, or it cuts into the breast tissue. It shouldn't cut into the breast tissue over on the side of the breast. So it's really important to know what your proper size is. And unfortunately, it's hard to find a bra that is comfortable. And,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, it's good to go to, I recommend finding a good bra fitter that knows what they're doing and to help you pick out a comfortable bra that fits well. Because you don't want those gouges, the deep indentations, the red marks that hurt. That really blocks your lymph because your lymphatic system is relatively superficial, just under the surface of the skin. And tight fitting clothing anywhere, like belts and bras, they block the flow of lymph.
Oh, that okay, that's so good. That's so good to know. It's so funny because one of my first jobs was I worked in the lingerie department of Robinson's May, a store not around anymore, that I was worked in the lingerie department. So one of my jobs was to fit women for their bras. And we saw a lot of elderly people. There was a big retirement community in right down the street from my work. And I remember so many women that came in, they were wearing such like it was insane how wrong the size was. And they were squeezing into things and their boobs were not even in the bra. Like it was wild. So when you talk about I want to talk about the underwire because that is something that so a lot of people wear underwire bras, and that is something that you do not recommend then.
I don't recommend, and I also wear them from time to time. But I don't like to wear them every day, and I take them off as soon as I can. There's just some outfits that look a little better with a little extra support. But no, I don't recommend them. And something that's talked about in that book I mentioned is how the underwire, if it's actually metal, is actually an antenna. So you're getting extra EMFs in your breast tissue. It's just wild thinking about it on those terms. You're carrying your cell phone around, you're exposed to all these EMFs around you, and your underwire bra is like an antenna. So that's an interesting
Wow.
concept as well. And then the wire, where it ends on the lateral, over on the side of the breast, actually blocks the lymph flow. But sports bras that are too tight do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you have a person that's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, well, what should I use? Is like have you seen those like bralettes that are like just they're kind of like a sports bra, but they fit like less tight and they're comfortable. Is that recommended? And then my second question would be you said maybe take the bra off or go braless when you can. I know a lot of people who sleep in their bras or they have like the camisoles and they sleep in those. Do you also recommend like take that off and like when you can and go braless from time to time or like every night? What do you recommend about that?
Well, if I had my choice, I'd never wear a bra. But, in society, you're kind of frowned upon when you do that, and you're made to feel a little self-conscious. But back to your question, bralettes are great. I have some of those I wear around the house. For some women, it's just plain uncomfortable to go without a bra because they're so well endowed and
Yeah.
it hurts. So they do need that little bit of extra support. But if you can go without sleeping in it, it's highly recommended so that as you turn, the breasts move and they turn and they get a little extra bounce and a little extra circulation. It's good not to keep them trapped all the time.
Okay, so great. I'm glad we talked about this in length because I'm like this is interesting and we don't talk about this. So it's good information. So one of the other things that you have many roles and so much expertise, but one of the roles you have is a breast you said massage therapist.
Mhm.
So, what does it look like? So, if what are people coming to you for? Are a lot you had mentioned pain. Is that something that a lot of people are coming to you for? Are they just people who are aware that we need to have that movement and that lymphatic drainage as a preventative measure or what are your clients coming to see you to do? And what type of client comes to see you for that?
Well, I work with a lot of breast cancer clients, and I work with women going through cancer treatment and after cancer treatment because many of them develop lymphedema when they remove lymph nodes. It disrupts the flow of the lymph, and so they develop swelling in the arm and in the upper part of the trunk. So I work with a lot of breast cancer clients. But for benign issues, I work with a lot of ladies who have very painful breasts and they have benign lumps or cysts, and they're afraid it's going to turn into cancer. Uh, just one of my clients, her husband couldn't even touch her breasts ever because they were so tender. So after working with
Mm.
me for 3 months, he was very happy. But I work primarily, I get a lot of fibrocystic breast clients, and there's so much that can be done. Uh, changing it a little bit, making a few lifestyle changes. But the primary reasons for fibrocystic breasts are inflammation, stagnant lymph, and also, I'm drawing a blank, estrogen dominance. So, inflammation, stagnant lymph, and estrogen dominance. And there's a lot that can be done, like I said, with some lifestyle changes and doing some daily care. So, when they come to see me for breast massage, I'm not going to be massaging their breasts the whole hour that they're with me. Um, but I do a general detox session for them to get their whole lymphatic system working well, get it stimulated. And then I do lymph on the breast tissue, and then I massage, a specific technique of massage on the breasts. And I show them how to work on themselves at home so that they can do it daily while they're in the shower or after they take their bra off. So, just getting that healthy circulation in the breasts is what really helped that one client that came to see me.
Okay, perfect. So I want to talk about that next too, because you said there are things that we can do at home.
Mhm.
So what are some other things that we can do if somebody's listening to this and they're like, okay, I want to really be aware and conscious of my breast health, and with, like you said, it's as serious as cancer prevention. So what are
Right.
some things that you can recommend to your clients, or just in general, that we can do at home or on our own to make sure our health is or sorry, our lymph is moving and we're keeping that breast health?
Well, number one is the bra that we've already talked about, a proper fitting bra. And I always like to say that yes, the breast health is important, but the overall health is equally important because it's a full body system. So just one very simple thing is staying well hydrated. It's not something we think about much, but your lymph system is water. It's your river of life, your water. And when you're dehydrated, your lymph gets very sticky and it's more like sludge. So it doesn't work very well and it gets stagnant. The other thing for the deep lymphatic system in the abdomen is deep belly breathing. It not only relaxes your nervous system and takes you out of fight or flight, but it also changes that osmotic pressure in your abdominal and thoracic cavity and pumps the lymph up. So it also stimulates your lymphatic system. And deep belly breathing, deep belly laughter, you get the same effect, but that also turns on your happy hormones and stimulates your immune system in a very positive way. So those are two important things. One thing that I recommend to all my clients is dry skin brushing. It's very simple to do. You can do it, it takes 2 to 5 minutes before you hop in the shower. It's great for circulation of the lymph. And it's also a great way to exfoliate your skin so you get that nice baby soft skin. It's good for circulation. Um, Breast massage that I've talked about already. And another thing that's very interesting is most of us are iodine deficient. And when our diet changed, when they started adding the bromides to our food supply, that the bromide competes with the iodine on the receptor sites, the same receptor sites, and usually the bromide wins and displaces the iodine. Well, your breasts, your thyroid, and for men, the prostate gland require more iodine than any other organ system in the body. And so you can add, it's important to add iodine. I'm not going to prescribe it. And of course, I recommend talking to your doctor, especially if you have a hyperthyroid. But the other thing is fluoride removes iodine from your body too. So you want to make sure you're getting enough iodine in your diet because that's also good cancer preventative. And really, one of my favorites that I recommend to many of my clients are castor oil packs. And I'll give you I'll send you one of my links that you can post on your podcast where people can order a really high quality castor oil and packs that stay in place, easy to use, and they have breast packs. But the castor oil actually helps decrease inflammation. It pulls out toxins. It increases nutrition for repair of the tissues, and it's very soothing. And castor oil has been recommended for ages. And avoiding toxins is critical. So we're exposed to xenoestrogens, which are known as dirty estrogens, and your body has a very difficult time removing them from your body. And we don't need those dirty estrogens. we we have enough of our own estrogen being stored in our body most of the time. And those xenoestrogens are stored in fatty tissue, also breast tissue. So, breast tissue, fatty tissue around the abdomen, hips, and thighs. And it's so interesting. They're found in dirty estrogens. Like, I love that you do healthy skincare because they're found in skincare products, personal care products, shampoos and conditioners, fragrances, fabric softener, cleaners, everywhere around us, pesticides. So we have those xenoestrogens floating around in our body, causing issues in the breasts because if you're estrogen dominant, they're going to hang out in the breasts and cause fibrocystic breasts. So, with the xenoestrogens, got to give your liver some love. So, the liver is responsible for over 500 functions, and it's responsible for 50% of metabolizing and conjugating those estrogens out of the body. And with all the toxins we're exposed to, it's really easy for the liver to become overburdened. And one of my favorite products that I recommend is simple thing like milk thistle. That's really supportive to help with that. And you got to eat your vegetables. And more importantly, eat your cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli and kale and Brussels sprouts because they're loaded with sulforaphane and indole. And sulforaphane is it's the precursor for glutathione, which is your master antioxidant. And also the indole, also known as DIM, actually helps remove the estrogen out of your body. So it's really important. And I recommend a supplement for my clients that's a concentrated cruciferous supplement for them. And the other thing is bioidentical progesterone. So I love that Dr. John Lee, who's a well known physician and author, said that it's really important to have the proper ratios of bioidentical progesterone to estrogen, because if you don't have the proper ratio, the estrogen will go circulating in the body unchecked. And also, it will block the thyroid from functioning properly, which I found very interesting. And he said that oftentimes doctors will recommend an additional supplement for the thyroid, and it actually doesn't fix the problem because you're not dealing with the estrogen dominance. So, those are some things that I recommend. That's a lot, but I recommend starting with one to three things, and just gradually add those things in and making those lifestyle changes makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, you have listed so many good ones. I love one of them being getting a deep belly laugh because who wouldn't want that? I guess we need to look and see what Netflix comedy specials are out right now because that's a fun way to stay healthy. I for sure think. When I first started my wellness journey, I had already been in the skincare industry for years, working on client skin and as an educator for multiple skincare brands. When I learned about how the toxins in our personal care and beauty products could have a negative impact on our health, I knew I needed to make a change. I was used to the result-driven products that I was working with, and I was not happy with the natural products on the market at that time. Although they were safer and cleaner, they did not meet my expectations for results. I created Simply Just Skincare to deliver the results my clients demanded from their products while using natural, toxin-free ingredients. You can check out my clients' results and reviews on my website, simplyjustskincare.com. In 30 days, my clients have reported more hydrated skin, less appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and more of an overall glow. Our top sellers include our Repair Toner, our Hydrating Undo Serum with hyaluronic acid, and more. I am offering my listeners 20% off their first order with code PODCAST. Check it out in the link in my show notes to get glowing today. And I really like the castor oil packs. I had surgery a few years ago, and when I was recuperating, I have a lymphatic therapist that I was seeing once a month, and she would do castor oil packs on me during our treatment. And it was like, what I found really interesting was that my bloating would go down. And it would just make such a difference. And it's like, it was only, under an hour that I would have it on my stomach. And it was amazing. Like, I really love the results. I love the idea of bringing that to home and doing that at home. And do you recommend people, you said breast or abdomen, do you just pick which one you want to do, or like which one would you recommend to, like, what area to put it on?
I recommend the liver and the breasts. So you can alternate or you can do them at the same time. And some people are more sensitive to the castor oil than others. I have one client who she's super sensitive, and so she can only tolerate the pack for an hour, sometimes less. And I have other clients that sleep with them on. So,
Mm.
so I recommend trying one at a time so you don't have a detox, an overload response where you feel really crummy. But that doesn't happen too often.
Okay. I love that. Those are such great tips. And the milk thistle too. Is that just a supplement that you would take or a tea?
Well, if you get a tincture, it's more potent. So there's a company in Oregon. It's called Herb Farm, PHARM, and they have really good milk thistle tinctures. You can also get it from Gaia Pro or, different supplement companies. You can take it in capsule form or tincture, whatever you prefer. You can do a tea, but it's not as strong. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, so many people are dealing with these issues that you're saying that that could arise, like I have hypothyroidism, my estrogen is high. So, and I'm taking DIM as a supplement just because of all of that, and I try to get my vegetables in, my cruciferous vegetables. Thankfully, I love them. So, it's kind of easy to do. So, those are really good tips on like how we can try to get our breast tissue healthy, but like you said, overall our lymphatic system needs to be working right. I would like to add like a little side note to like breast health and get your opinion on this. But what do you see with your clients and what have you learned about women who get breast implants? Because if we're talking about breast health, we should also mention this because I don't think a lot of people are thinking about breast health, but
Right.
also how does that coincide with an implant?
That's a really great question because I have young women getting implants for surgery. They're getting the implants because they want them.
Mhm.
And I'm working with a large number of women who are going through explant surgery due to breast implant illness. And some of them were pretty close to dying. They were so ill. So, yeah, breast implants. I personally don't recommend them because there's been so much information published, and especially if you're getting mammograms and having them compressed during the mammography, that's not good either because they're prone to tear and leak. But you can start the leakage, and there's research that says you can be exposed to heavy metals in the breast implants. Mold can attach. If you're exposed to mold, it likes to attach to different foreign objects in your body, and implants are one. I have clients that didn't have mold in the implant, but they had mold surrounding the implant when they had it removed. And that's one of the
Mhm.
reasons they were so sick. They
Mm.
were exposed to mold in their home. So, yeah, I work with a lot of ladies going through that after surgery, and then I help them detoxify with lymphatic drainage to help their recovery process. So, it's not something I recommend personally, but I meet every client where they're at, and they're going to do what they want. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good to talk about though because there's more information about it now and it's not risk-free like we're told. So, yeah, it's a good thing to talk about. There should be awareness about it. And I think now there is way more than there used to be. You mentioned mammograms. So, when we are keeping an eye on our breast health and maybe looking, of course, we want to prevent breast cancer. What are your preferred ways to monitor that?
Well, the easiest way is self breast examination. And that's pretty easy to do if you're doing self breast massage. You can slow it down and do the examination during that time. But that's something simple to do because that gives you a good baseline on what do my breasts feel like? Are they both symmetrical? Is one lumpier than the other one in a certain area? And just becoming familiar with your own breast tissue. And unfortunately, there's about 30% of women who don't even want to touch their breasts because they're afraid of finding something.
Mm.
And then there's women who have them preemptively removed, and I have those clients in my practice. Mammography, I'll just start with mammography. It's not a preventative, it's a diagnostic tool. So it's not for prevention. In fact, I have this really good little information that I want to read. Breast tissue, and I will probably never have another mammogram unless I absolutely have to if I need a diagnosis. And the reason is I had a very bad experience with a false positive.
Oh,
And that's something that happens a lot. And unfortunately, if you have dense breast tissue, the mammography shows white. And dense breast tissue is also white. So they miss a lot of it. They miss a lot of breast cancer diagnoses. And the most recent study on mammography dates from October 2015. The report, Mammograms Have Not Cut the Rate of Advanced Breast Cancer," which was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And it was made by three leading cancer specialists and is based on statistics that go back to the 70s. It came out a week after the American Cancer Society actually cut its advice on annual mammograms. According to the Cochrane report, there are more than 10 times false positive results than justified results, and that discrepancy only creates fear, which is also that stress can also cause cancer. Many women and their families suffer from worry and stress in cases of false positive results, and they are urged to undergo annoying and painful examinations and tests. So, what I like to recommend for prevention, like I said, self breast examination is the easiest and most cost effective thing to do. But I like to recommend thermography, and we have two great thermography places here in Coeur d'Alene, because thermography, there's no EMFs, it's non-invasive, it's not painful, and it's a thermogram. It's scanning the heat on your body. So it can actually pick up changes in the breast 8 to 10 years before cancer will actually begin. So
wow.
you can, they're looking for symmetry in the breast tissue. If there's asymmetry, the different colors, excessive heat, they pick up on heat. So excessive heat can mean many things. It can mean you're estrogen dominant, there's inflammation, maybe you're breastfeeding and there's extra blood flow to the area, which is to be expected. But they're looking for asymmetry and different changes in the breast. And so I actually work with a lot of ladies who have thermograms that are asymmetric, they're estrogen dominant, they want to start making some changes, because you can go back in 3 to 6 months and the thermogram will be look much different doing making those changes. So that is my one of my favorite preventative measures because it detects changes as they occur, but it's not a diagnostic tool. It's just for prevention and monitoring. So I think every woman should have a thermogram and get a baseline and then have one every year or every 3 to 6 months, depending on what they find. Unfortunately, insurance does not cover it, but it's not overly expensive. The other one is full breast ultrasound. We're very lucky here in Coeur d'Alene to have cavinacare.com. They do full breast ultrasound, and they can actually detect cancer as small as 4 to 10 millimeters. And they do 3 to 5,000 images of the breasts, depending on the size of the breasts. Like I said, the difficult truth is that mammograms miss cancer 50 to 60% of the time in women with dense breast tissue. So those are my three go-tos: the self breast exam, thermography, and ultrasound. And if they're uncertain about what they see, then you go for the mammogram.
I
So
love that. Oh, and those are all non-invasive, which is amazing. I actually started thermography last year.
great.
So, yeah, so I did one for, my baseline, and then think I came back 3 months late. They had me come back 3 months later, and now I'm on like a yearly protocol. So I just, and like you said, it really isn't that expensive to just pay out of pocket. The place that I found, I can even leave in the show notes for people who are local to me, was extremely just thorough, amazing, but also affordable. So it's something that I can definitely justify doing once a year. I've also had a mammogram. They had a hard time with, and I had to immediately get an ultrasound because they thought they saw something and it was totally scary, and it was nothing. So I definitely can relate to what you said, and like having some type of, you know, preventative measure that you can just have a baseline and then keep going from there is great for peace of mind. And like you said, and also that the self exams are that's so important too. So
Right.
is there anything else that you want to share with us about things that we can do before we talk about where you are and how people can find you and work with you? Is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners about this?
I do. Something that I forgot to mention is that 80 to 90% of lumps you find in your breast are actually benign. And so I work with so many women who have been put through the fear machine of, oh, there's a lump, we need to go do a biopsy. And, women are so scared and so afraid of what they'll find. And it turns out to be nothing, but they're put through that whole stressful experience. And so they come to me because they want to do something to change their breast tissue and prevent from having to go through that again. So I can't really think of anything else. I think, just adding a few simple things like the proper fitting bra, castor oil packs, dry skin brushing, and breast massage, just starting with those four things is really critical. And that will get you a long ways. And then you can pull in some of those extra things I mentioned.
Yeah, I love those. I love everything is very doable and it's so important. And there's even like memes going around online of joking about how we need a new bra as moms and we're spending money on toys when they're like, no, you need to go buy yourself a new bra. This might be just in time for somebody listening to this to be like, yes, this episode is talking directly to me. I need to upgrade my bra drawer. So you are so amazing. This is such great information. I am so grateful that you were able to come on and share with us because literally never talked about this before and it's so important. So share with us if somebody is in your area and they want to come and see you, where they can find you, and I'll make sure I link everything in my show notes as well.
Great. Yeah, and I'll send you some links as well after we finish here, but it's pretty easy to find. You can type in RochelleClark.com. It'll go right to my website. My business name is The Art of Healing Touch, so you can type in artofhealingtouch.com, theartofhealingtouch.com, or RochelleClark.com. You'll be able to find me. I'm also all over social media on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So I'm pretty easy to find. I also do remote. I do online breast health consultations. So you can schedule that on my website if you're interested.
Oh, that's so good to know because you also, we didn't really talk about this today, but people can learn more about it with you is that you do talk about nutrition and things that we can do with our nutrition to help prevent and, help you get better. So that's so amazing that you offer that virtually. And we have to do like a little shout out to Linda for connecting us. She will definitely be listening to this episode. So thank you, Linda, for this amazing connection. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe and review so we can reach more people who want to learn to glow alongside us. See you next time.